Welcome to Cloudify Podcast, brought to you by Cloud Advisory. On this podcast, we talk about ways to grow, innovate, and automate your business using the Salesforce customer experience platform. Without further ado, here is the next episode of Cloudify.
Welcome to the Cloudify podcast. In this episode of Cloudify, we're going to talk about should your medical or pharma business integrate SAP with Salesforce. As usual, Cloudify podcast is brought to you by Cloud Advisory, a boutique Salesforce partner specializing in consulting and development for marketing automation, business workflow, and sales automation on the Salesforce customer experience platform. Today on our episode of Cloudify, we're going to discuss the benefits and the cons of integrating SAP with Salesforce for medical and pharma businesses. Many medical and pharma businesses, also referred to in Salesforce vernacular as Lifesciences, are very similar in that they require an ERP platform in the background to basically manage the core of their product development and delivery business. Medical and pharma companies generally have many product SKUs, so they have a lot of different products, particularly if they're in a device business or they're a durable medical equipment supplier or wholesaler. Pharma companies may have many SKUs. They also have many moving parts, so those products will have to be tracked through their life cycle, where they're at in a warehouse or where they're being shipped. They also have a lot of product inputs, so those are the goods that the materials that they use to create their final goods. So typically they'll employ some sort of an ERP platform to track both the product inputs and the final goods. And typically there's a lot of transactions with customers. So SAP is used also in the financial aspect of orders and accounting. And so typically there's a lot of different transactions that are going on and those need to be tracked. And then there's different prices and price books to manage. So for all of these, a lot of medical and pharma businesses will employ an ERP, and SAP being one of the primary ones. But certainly this discussion is not limited to SAP as the only ERP. There's obviously others out there. Some are homegrown, some might be Oracle-based, and then there might be specialized ones for different types of medical or pharma providers. So the benefits of SAP as a platform: it is a specific ERP platform, so it is built so that it can primarily deal with product inputs, final goods, warehouse management, and then all the financial aspects of orders and invoices. It's typically also a source of the primary source of customer records. So all active customers who are making a purchase obviously have to be in SAP or another ERP for you to invoice them and ship goods out to. Now, again, all this discussion does apply to other ERPs, so SAP may be synonymous with something like Oracle. Here's the challenge that life science companies run into with SAP. What it's not good for. It's not an easy platform to customize. There are many different generations, and the development cycles tend to be long and expensive. And they tend to be on an older type of client server or server-based technology. There are certainly data center, private clouds, if you will. But for the most part, this tends to be technology that goes in over a period of 18 to 24 months. There's a heavy investment and a relatively heavy IT footprint compared to, say, a software as a service. It's a terrible CRM. They do have the ability to provide a CRM, but really for sales, it's a very difficult tool to use, not easy to customize. It is also not a platform that you're going to want to use for case management. So if you have any sort of customer support, SAP is definitely not good for that. Although customer support will need visibility into financials and orders and maybe even inventory, which would be in SAP. For other components of case management, it's not going to be useful. So for example, opening and closing trouble tickets, customizing that to the business workflows, workflow rules and assignments, knowledge base of typical answers, integration to a telephony system, you're not going to use SAP for any of that. So those are kind of like hallmarks of a modern customer support platform. It's also not terribly mobile friendly. Oh, it's also not a marketing platform. So really, SAP is not good as a marketing platform. There are e-commerce options on SAP, but those are also not ideal. The best thing about SAP is leaving it as an ERP. It's stuff that you can develop, customize, and then implement in your business, and it'll run for a long time. It is clunky though, and you're not going to want to run your marketing automation on it, and it's really not the best option out there. And again, it's not a mobile-friendly platform. Typically, there are older ways to get into your instance of SAP, such as using something like Citrix or a VPN to get into a company network. These are all really old, slow ways to get access to data and to perform transactions or account-based activity that might be in SAP. And this same discussion applies to most ERPs that are out there. So these are things that ERP just are not, built for. Into the Salesforce platform. So Salesforce has really defined itself as the customer success or the customer experience platform. It's primarily originally built as a software as a service and still is. So there is really no IT footprint, focused on the sales organization, delivering customer relationship management. So it's really the brain of your interaction with customers. So any customer-facing activity you have should be in Salesforce, and that's what it's built for. Sales Cloud is for basically opportunity and account management. Service Cloud is where you would manage typically cases and you would build up a knowledge base of questions and answers used by internal customer support resources, but can also be pushed out through communities, which is another discussion, as a accessible customer knowledge base. And then Pardot being one of the two marketing automation offerings also on the Salesforce platform. These are all best-of-breed software as a service line of business applications for the customer-facing roles of sales, service, and marketing. And that's what the Salesforce platform is designed for. Another big benefit of the Salesforce platform is they do have public-facing APIs, and they have Lightning Connect, which is a new semi-pre-built way to connect into common databases such as Oracle or SAP. See where this discussion is going. Salesforce 1, not the greatest mobile experience in the world, but it is mobile ready and much better than anything you're going to have on a platform like SAP. So particularly when you have remote or mobile employees, they're going to want access on a smartphone or on a tablet. Much easier platform to customize and scale. You can develop in the cloud. There is no IT footprint, so it's quick to roll out. Everything's cloud-based, meaning you can access the application from a web browser and a high-speed internet access connection. So why would you want to connect SAP and Salesforce together for your life sciences business? Well, the source of order and customer record we've already established is typically in SAP. So that's where your inventory, your transactions, your financial data is going to be worked on, is in SAP and ERP where it should be. It's also typically the primary customer record. However, we've already established that SAP is very poor for customer-facing employees to manage opportunities, accounts, customer support cases, and you're certainly not going to want to use it for any marketing. Salesforce, on the other hand, is focused around sales and allows sales to better manage accounts and opportunities. It is also designed for support, so you can manage cases. And if you go with the Service Cloud, you can extend other capabilities out, such as multi-channel support, so not just telephone-based support, but web-based, email to case, you can have mobile to case, and you can have chat-based support as examples. Marketing can also use the Salesforce platform if you adopt something like Pardot, where you have the ability to maybe leverage SAP data, which is really our goal. We want to get the SAP data on transactions and orders, the history, into Salesforce while letting SAP do its job of ERP on finance, orders, inputs, and all the other transaction data. Future development on Salesforce, when you take this approach of integrating the two, is going to be much cheaper and much faster in Salesforce. So you kind of leap over the issues that you would have of extending other line of business applications in SAP, which would be much more expensive and slower. This includes customer and partner community options. So Salesforce has pre-built customer and partner community options where that you can roll out a customer-based opportunity or a customer-based portal using the Salesforce community platform, extending features of sales, service, marketing, and even SAP data on transactions. Same thing for partners. So if you're in a channel model and you have resellers or you have distributors, you can build out a partner portal using the partner community platform. So what are the customer benefits of integrating your SAP to Salesforce? Number one, you're going to give sales reps and customer service reps and marketing folks visibility to orders, product history, account ratings, all this information that would normally be locked up in SAP. You're going to allow better product configuration option and quotes. So if you're in the business where your sales needs to be preparing quotes based upon products, by utilizing Salesforce instead of SAP for quotes, you're going to dramatically reduce the time to quote and the time to cash, where you're managing opportunities from configuration, quote to cash. And there's lots of options there, including SteelBrick, which we'll talk about in another episode. Personalized marketing messaging. If you do want to engage, in which you're probably going to want to in marketing automation, you're going to have the ability to look at the profile of a customer, rate them and rank them, give them a grade based upon data you're pulling from SAP into Salesforce, and then your marketing department is going to be able to use Pardot to build campaigns targeted at the product preferences and the interests of the different segments of your customer base. Very, very difficult to do if you leave all that stuff in SAP, so a huge benefit by integrating the two. Multi-channel support. So again, if you're providing any sort of customer support, telephone-based support is the most expensive form of support you can provide today. So what you want to do is you want to push out as much self-service support as you can. You're going to want to extend out knowledge bases. Chat-based support is going to probably be 20% the cost of phone-based support, maybe less, because basically customer support reps can handle more customer inquiries by chat than they can by telephone. Email to case, web to case, and even mobile to case support. So lots of options there by integrating the two, putting the financial data into Salesforce, and then using Salesforce for what it's good at as being a customer-facing tool. Knowledge, we already mentioned, is a feature of Service Cloud, so this is something you're not going to have if you use SAP as your primary support tool to support your customer support group. And then communities, again, this is a way to securely push out data to partners or to customers or even employees that could include knowledge, but it could also include community-based features. It can also include Salesforce-based data like account-based information, but also the SAP data on transactions. So now you've got a secure platform by integrating the two and using them for what they're good at. So really, in conclusion, SAP investment is usually really high. Not easily customized platform. It's not meant for customer-facing and customer experience roles. You can, however, using a number of methods, extend the data that's in SAP that's critical to those employees that are in sales, service, and marketing. Salesforce is ideal, we've established, for other lines of business that are customer-facing, unlike SAP, which is really strong, obviously, at warehouse management, product inputs, and final product outputs. Basically ERP tasks, all the financial and ordering tasks that you would normally do in an ERP. So what we say is leave each to do their job, and for medical and pharma companies with similar characteristics, you can derive like huge benefits from the data connectivity between the two systems. In the next episode of the Cloudify podcast, we'll talk about the 5 steps that medical and pharma businesses and life sciences can take to integrate their ERP with Salesforce. I'm your host, Michael. Thank you for joining me. Looking forward to you on the next episode.
This has been an episode of Cloudify Podcast. Check out other episodes for interesting topics on how to grow, innovate, and automate your business using the Salesforce Customer Experience Platform.